Well, hello, hi, and welcome. This panel is Fiction²kin², which isn't actually spelled that way on the page, but Fiction²kin just feels kind of weird to say verbally. This is our second ever panel. Those at HallCon may or may not have listened to us ramble on and on about life as a fictional character, and today will be no different. But before we get into all of that, do we have any fictional characters in chat? And if so, do you have any thoughts on that damn narrative? Just, like the concept of having a narrative as a whole, things like fate, destiny, being controlled, that kind of thing. Yeah, fuck the narrative, man. It's there's a lot going on with many narratives. All right. Interesting, interesting. Well, we will get back to the narrative concept. But first, hello, we are 3-7 System, a DID system that identifies really, really heavily as essentially a bunch of fictional characters in a trench coat. A bunch of fictional characters in a trench coat who are currently getting over a cold, though, so bear with me if my voice sounds a little fucky at times. Uh, you can call us Seven, you can call us Agape, but what you can't call us is someone with a normal relationship with video games created by Kazutaka Kodaka. We are in our 20s, use he and plural they as our collective pronouns, and we love the fiction folk community. We've been a part of this community since 2014, if I'm remembering correctly, and it's given us a lot of time to appreciate the growth of the community. We really love seeing everyone come together at Altered Human events like this. It's really great having a space for people just to kind of hang out together, put their experience before sources when it comes to fiction folk, origin, types of altered humanity, things like that. But that was the system. Who exactly is speaking to you right now? Who's relevant here? Drop that fucking kin list, OP. Well, currently speaking is King Kokichi Oma. He it. Surprising absolutely nobody, I am Kokichi Oma from New Danganronpa V3. The Kokichi Oma is me. But I am also Darumi Amamiya from the 100-line Last Defense Academy. If you've played and you see things lining up there, no you do not, because you cannot read me, that is illegal. Aside from me, who else in the system is relevant to this topic, despite the fact that they probably won't be speaking because they are not mentally scheduled to speak right now? Well, we have Narancia and John, who are the Tsukumo twins from 100 Line. Then, of course, we have Ira, who is Takumi from 100 Line. Dromi, who's Shion from 100 Line. Juniper, who's Tsubasa from 100 Line. 8, who's Eito from 100 Line. Aster, who's Gaku from 100 Line. Finis, who's Saihara from Danganronpa V3, which is by the creator of 100 Line. And Lambda, who's Chris from Deltarune. Yeah, if you couldn't tell by the many, many times we've said it, we have a not-so-normal relationship with the works of Kazutaka Kodaka. This isn't even all of it. This is only what's relevant to the panel games that we mentioned. But I digress. Of this giant group, you'll be hearing from myself, 8, and Lambda today. Finally, a quick list of trigger warnings, content warnings, etc. Unreality, or the idea of reality not being what it seems. Loss of personhood, or not even having had that in the first place. These are heavy, heavy warnings for this panel. Also, as mentioned, some major spoilers for the games we're discussing here, namely New Danganronpa V3, 100 Line Last Defense Academy, and Deltarune, specifically Chapter 1. We're not getting too into it. We've got discussions of fucked up science experiments, intergalactic war, brainwashing, death, just a lot of kind of depressing shit. If you're fine with that kind of thing, though, cool. Let's get started. So, I'm a very high energy person, but for now, I want everyone just to take a deep breath with me. And hold it. And exhale. And wow, you're breathing. Congratulations, that's a person activity. Now, I'm going to ask you just a few questions, and I'd really like it if you could answer honestly. Question number 1. What's your favorite drink? Could be pretty much anything, even just kind of regular plain water, just anything. Oh, cream soda, so true. I am kind of big on cream soda, but we never get any. Like, whenever we go out, they don't have it, and it sucks. Strawberry Monster, so true! Wait, we've got so many drinks. I need to, even if it's something that I haven't tried, I need to go crazy and drink some. Water, so true. Again, hydration. All right. So let's move on to question number 2. This one's a hard one. Cats or dogs? Very hard question, I'm sure, especially at an Alter Human convention. No killing each other over this, guys. Ooh, cat dog. So true. Good in between. It's a false bind. So true, man. So true. All right. Now, question number 3. Can you send an emote in chat? Like any emote, just one that you like. Oh, I'm vibing with these. Wait, I like the little lizard dancing. Oh my god, the dirt. These are good. These are good. I'm vibing. I'm vibing. All right. So, next we have question number 4. What is your favorite color? Again, very difficult. You can get really specific, you can get kind of vague. If you want to give me a hex code number, that's kind of crazy, but go for it, man. We got so much blue in chat. You know what? Ato is going to be happy about that. That is also his favorite. No, I support all the colors. I support all the colors. Wait, plural kid, I forgot that you could do that. All right. And finally, question number 5. What's a genre of fiction that you really, really enjoy? Romance, horror, fantasy, literally anything. Horror, I see it loud and clear. Okay. We got a lot of fantasy. That makes sense here. That makes sense. You know what? Demographics will count demographics. If you're into shoujo, I respect that. I've seen your I've seen your collection of papers on it. Got diverse choices. This is kind of awesome. See, well-rounded at the Fiction Folk panel. All right, all right. Well done. You made those decisions all on your own. Say that makes you pretty independent. Nobody is here to tell you what to do or what to say. You have your own opinions. So here are my answers. What is my favorite drink? I like carbonated drinks, especially grape soda. Do I prefer cats or dogs? I like cats. I had a bad experiences related to dogs in the past. Send an emote. Purple. Horror. My answers were written for me. They're part of the narratives that I'm sourced from. They're genuine, but they're also scripted. Both literally by the me writing the script that I'm reading, but also by the people who wrote my character. They're fake opinions written for a fake person to have. So I guess that makes me a fake person. And quite literally, I am. Ooh, boost. Nice. Breaking my tone. A lot of writers like to toy around with the idea of fate. It's a genuinely interesting topic. Is your life scripted? Is there some kind of destiny you're going to fulfill? Do you even have a choice in the matter? One way a lot of writers will discuss this phenomenon is through making their characters self aware. An example a lot of people will think of when I say that kind of thing is The Truman Show. Truman raised his whole life in a fictional world, surrounded by fictional people, doesn't know that things aren't real until things start falling apart, revealing the unreality of his situation. Everything was scripted. His friendships were fake, his relationships were planned. He didn't get to make decisions. His fate was set in stone by a writer's narrative. But he didn't like that. He saw his universe's creators and decided to break free from the narrative forced upon him since birth. He's his own person. He doesn't need them to be a person. For as fictional as everything about his life is, he's real. He wants things to be real. In a way, I think that's a narrative a lot of fiction folk can relate to pretty heavily. You've been under the control of a writer, your decisions in canon are what the author wants the narrative to be, and that's just the way things are. You have regrets over how things may have gone, you wish you didn't do them, or wish there were things that you really could do. But now you're here. But that is not a bad thing. You have your fictional identity, you have your fictional past, and you have your fictional now. But you can expand upon it. You're in a world without a writer's control. You have agency. Think back to those questions from earlier. You answered those honestly, right? Because you are your own independent person. So I will too. My favorite drink is probably the Purple Monster Energy drink. It's pretty good. I can't find it anywhere near me though since I moved, which sucks so bad. I used to be able to find it kind of everywhere. Thankfully, this weekend, I was like, oh, it's a special occasion. I'm going to just order a pack. So I have like 2 left right now. I kind of chugged one before, and that's honestly not why I'm high energy. I'm just kind of like this. Um, I mentioned grape soda before, and I don't really drink soda too much. I used to as like a joke, kind of. I was like, would it be funny? Would it be funny if I did? But I don't really like it. I'm kind of just like a water for hydration kind of guy. But I do love my occasional Taco Bell Baja Blast. The Baja Blast Midnight goes hard. We found out yesterday in a server that it's apparently not grape flavor, it's passion fruit. And like listen, I don't even know. I didn't even think it was grape. I thought it was like just purple. It's just purple. Number 2. I do still like cats, but I also kind of like most animals, dogs included. But actually, you know what? Fuck you. Who needs a binary option? If I am breaking free of the narrative, I am breaking free of everything. Fuck you. Horse, final answer. Okay, this is the emoji question, and I did not script this because I wanted to be really authentic. And I was like, all day while I was helping out my headmate mentally prepare for this, I was like, what emo will I choose for this panel? And I couldn't think of anything because I was like, I should make it really authentic and just like search through my emo. It's like, what do I do? I don't know. Uh, you know what? We are going with, I should go faster. Here is if you know A Place Further Than the Universe, this is from the opening theme song, and it's them doing like a weird photobomb thing, like video trick. So that's my emo. I could have gone with one of my many horse emotes, but I was like, no, I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna be different this time. Yes. There we go. As for my favorite color, yes, I still like purple, but it is not because the writers said that I should. It's because I am gay. Next question. I'm actually really into lighter fiction, kind of like goofy slice of life stuff. Not to say I don't like horror, I definitely do. I mean, I'm from Danganronpa. But sometimes you do need some chill vibes or idols. I really like idol games, and everybody should stream the hit song I Want by Haruka Amami. Idolmaster is very good and very important to me, and I think everyone should love it forever and ever. And that was the truth. So, that is my little soapbox. I said we would be getting into video game spoiler territory. And that, my lovely friends, is by me sharing my own experiences with, like Truman, being a fictional character in real life. Real life is, to all of us in call right now, fiction. Fictionception. So I am from New Danganronpa V3, the fourth game in the Danganronpa series. Yeah, the number makes it kind of confusing. We'll get to that. V3 is set in its own universe, away from the previous games in the series. As a quick summary of Danganronpa, it's basically a series where a bunch of insanely talented people get trapped somewhere, and the only way to escape is to get away with murder. The rest of the group holds a trial, and if they find the culprit, that culprit is executed. If not, everyone else dies and the murderer can freely escape. It's a really popular series, and it actually recently hit its 15-year anniversary, which is kind of crazy. And yes, there is a new one coming, and it is... Man, they keep doing this to me. So in this new universe of V3, a bunch of talented people are kidnapped off the street and forced to join in a killing game. Unfortunately, there's a bit of an amnesia situation going on, involving talents, false memories, and so much more. Thankfully, their captors are kind enough to reveal the truth about what is happening on the outside world and about their identities through objects known as flashback lights. Not like that was real either, though. So many people are killed in this game. It's kind of brutal, and it's eventually revealed that none of it was even real. Not just the game, of course, the people. We were apparently just regular, average people who had our brains tampered with. They gave us completely new identities created by writers. Came up with pasts, talents, personalities, anything that could give the viewers at home a good show. And then it ended. And we were let loose into a world we couldn't understand. We had nothing. They didn't write us to be able to function in reality. They wrote character tropes and blorbos. So I had to figure out how to live my life, form my own identity outside of the person that they decided that I'd become. Easier said than done, though. It was fictional. I was basically just their IP, so even if I hated it, you have to keep in that unchanging fictional persona that they created for you. There's no room for growth, for improvement. You're always a static character. Until contracts until contracts ran out, at least. That was pretty nice. Anyway, I am asking so nicely for a fuck Team Danganronpa from everyone. Do not worry, they are not the game devs. They are the writers of season 53 of the hit series Danganronpa that exists solely inside the game New Danganronpa V3. Fuck Team Danganronpa. So true, chat. And okay. Thank you. Creating an easy flow into our second point is hard, so... Ato, one moment. We don't really manually switch much and, like, force it, so give me a second just to make sure it works, it is normal. Hi. I'll be honest, I don't entirely know how King wrote me into this. I don't really like crowds, and I don't like people, and he is Darumi. He's literally here. He just spoke. There were options. He mentioned a bunch of options, but I guess I'm the one who's speaking on this because I'm the only one that the writers in the game messed up. King spoke about Danganronpa. I wasn't there. I can't say anything on that, but I can talk about being a created person with a created past, and having to come out of that with no idea how to exist in the real world. Except for me, I didn't have that buffer between the fiction and the reality. I died, and I'm here. And now I'm learning how to undo the mistakes made while creating me. For context, imagine you're a child. Difficult, I'm sure. Not like everybody on the planet hasn't been a child. But yes, you're a child. And every time you look at another human being, they look like the most disturbing monster you could possibly see. You inhale, and you feel sick at the smell of them. They speak, and you feel like covering your ears and having a panic attack at how horrible they sound to you. It's like nails on a chalkboard. That was how I grew up. I've always been someone eager to learn about the world, interested in humanity. Reading was all I could stomach, just words. But in my research, I learned about terrifying things and awful history. And the way I perceived humans themselves didn't really help my view of them. I started to hate them. Even now, I'd say I'm a misanthropist in recovery. But that's not the point here. My life was horrible. Nothing good really happened. Hospitalizations, death, depression, misanthropy. It was an awful experience. The worst part of none of it is that none of it was real. Imagine the end of the world. It's like WALL-E. Have you seen WALL-E? It's like WALL-E. Humans destroyed the planet and then they left on a spaceship. But unlike WALL-E, they decided to find a new home somewhere else in the solar system. Enter the planet Futurum. Perfectly habitable for humans, a dream come true. Except people already live there. Futurans live there. And humans don't like it. War breaks out between humanity and the Futurans, and humanity is afraid that they'll lose. After all, Futurans have blood that gives them, essentially, superpowers. And the only way to beat those powers is with those powers. So how does humanity get that power? By kidnapping a Futuran baby, using his DNA to create a team of super soldiers in a lab with Futuran powers to use as weapons of the war. And then they send them to Futurum. But these soldiers are Futurans, right? Why would they listen to humanity who's trying to take over their planet? Easy, just don't tell them that they're Futurans. Don't tell them that they're on Futurum or that Futurum even exists. And don't tell them that humanity instigated any war. Keep them in test tubes, as pictured here, for years, loading them with false memories of a normal human life that they never had. They'll only be truly born when they enter the war, after all. You give them differences in personality, appearance, backstory, so that way you have a bunch of different perspectives during the war, and so that they can fall into different roles. You give them a person important to them, back home. If they win the war, they can go back home and see that person. They're fighting for someone, so they have to protect humanity. And if they step out of line, well, you've already messed around with their brains once to give them false memories. What's another brainwashing attempt? So they messed up with me. I said I was interested in learning about humanity, interested in learning about everything that I could. That was what they wanted. I was supposed to love humanity, to love people, to put my entire heart into protecting them, to actually see them as normal people. But there was a bug in the system, and the opposite happened. I was a mistake. My entire life, all of my trauma, the way that I saw people, literally, it was just a computer bug. And I was stuck like that permanently. The eyes that I thought were seeing the truth about the world, just a glitch. I hated the other soldiers, betrayed them. They were humans, so they were disgusting. But then I found out that they weren't. They were victims. We were all victims. Victims of some random scientist's shitty fucking fanfiction. As an aside, whoever wrote Kyoshka was definitely writing some like shitty shonen manga OC. But I felt awful. I wasn't alone anymore. It was me and the soldiers against the world. The Futurans wanted us to be dead for being weapons of humanity. Humanity didn't see us as people. If we did somehow win for humanity, they would have us decommissioned. It was just us. But I still saw them as monsters. I wanted them to understand that I was on their side. We're all fictional characters, and as fellow fictional characters, I wanted to support them. We're in this together. And there was only really one way to prove to myself. A big moment of you can trust me because I am leaving myself in your hands. You can trust me because I know you aren't disturbing monsters and they did this to me. They made me see you like this. You can trust me because I'm breaking free of my false past to carve a new future with you all. So I blinded myself because they wrote me wrong, they wrote my perception wrong, and I needed to fix it. Between fiction and reality was the SDU. Between human and Futuran was the SDU. A group of people who only truly lived for 100 days. Anyway, they said, no, you can't rejoin the team. You literally tried killing us yesterday. What the fuck? So I got kicked out, and then I died protecting some Futuran children in battle. The end. And here I am now. No, I don't know how to person. Are you fucking kidding me? I feel like an infant taking his first steps, but with literally everything that I do. It's frustrating. I hate it. Not only am I fiction²kin, but I was fictional in that fiction. I was only real in what's now fiction for 100 days. Not even. And now I'm here experiencing true reality, and frankly, I'm really fucking clueless. But whatever. Love and peace, etc., etc. I'm free, and I'm learning, and I'm meeting people, and it actually isn't all that bad. As a final bit for me, that is technically not about me, because we are unsure if the next alter will come to speak. He said that he would, but he has very bad anxiety, and we were like, oh, we can record it beforehand, but then life happened, and now we're basically like, okay, if you're willing to speak, you can speak. So here's the source that I'm sure most people are familiar with, and people were talking about before this started. Give me 1 second just to make sure he is available. Hi, I am Lambda, and I'm also Chris from Deltarune. As for pronouns, you might be tempted to use just they, them, because I use they, them in the source, but I personally use any pronouns and think it's neat kind of alternating them. But yeah, hi. The others describe the plot of their games that led up to them realizing that their life wasn't real. But I'm sure for people familiar with Deltarune, they know that isn't really the case for me. I kind of knew from the start that I kind of lost all control and became more of a vessel for the player to control. Okay, backing up a bit, there has to be someone in the audience right now that doesn't know too much about Deltarune, probably, so I'll walk you through my experience learning about it and being me. Before we realized we were plural, I was one of many alters trying to survive getting our college degree. We had played Undertale back at peak popularity when we were in high school, and suddenly Toby Fox dropped a weird, cryptic file on everyone. I was waiting to get into class at the time. Thankfully, it was more of a kind of study hall week. But I figured, hey, I trust Toby, even if this is a really weirdly named .exe. So I'll run this. The game starts like this. In a shadowy void, you as the player are asked to design your vessel. You can pick minor things, changing hair or shirt or whatever. You pick a name, and I chose Lambda because, lately I've really been wanting to go by Lambda. It's a nice name. At the end of it, though, you're told that all the designing you did, the personality questions you answered, all of it meant nothing. Nobody gets to choose who they are in this world, or something like that. And then you're face to face with me, Chris. Hi. You go through the game as me, a little confused from earlier, making a weird note of the name that you chose at the start, kind of saving over the save slot that says Chris. But you just ignore that. It's just a one-off thing in favor of an exciting RPG story. There's battles to be won, people to meet, lore about the world to uncover. You're having a great time. And at the end of that first chapter, the only chapter released at the time, you're greeted with a strange scene. Chris starts moving without your control. They drive their hand into their chest, tearing out their soul and throwing it into a cage. You try to move, but the soul is stuck, and Chris is free. Free from you, because you took over their life. Of course, Chris can't survive for long without a soul. Eventually, you'll come back and take over their life again. Chris can't be a person. Chris can only be your player character. Depending on how you play the game in the future, you're changing Chris's life. Chris doesn't have that personhood. They're just doing what you, the player, commanded them to do. In some instances, the player commanded me to do horrible things, and I was forced to watch as my body made it so. In other instances, things felt more normal, but there's still that lack of agency. I was kind of just the player's puppet. It's not a nice life to live. I've had a few diverging timelines, none of which are extremely clear to me, but they're still me all the same. Maybe my player wanted to try different things, who knows? Even now, trying to play more feels kind of disgusting. Chris sleeps better at night knowing that Chris is piloting as the player is something I've seen joked about from other Chriskin. And I know it's a joke, but it doesn't really feel that way to me. I'm in control when I play, yes, but I'm not the Chris in my game. And even if a different me was controlling me that I am now, that's still an outside force separate from the me in the moment that's controlling me. It feels awful, and I really just don't like it. um, yeah. I think the best way to end this is explaining my realization that I was the system, or my personal one. I didn't know at all. I really didn't. I come back years later, grappling with the idea that my life isn't solely my own. Well, I remember my name being a very important part of my life. I remember so many instances of calling myself Lambda, so many instances of being me. So I have to have been recorded somewhere. My name has to be here. I look through social media, I look through journals, I look through everything I can. There's no Lambda. There are other names. There are so many things that show that other people existed in the past. But there's no Lambda, and nobody in the system remembered ever having gone by Lambda. Recently, I found our old laptop from college. It had the old survey program exe saved to it, the original Deltarune file. I didn't want to get my hopes up. I know pretty well at this point that I wasn't there, but I started it up anyway. My file was saved over. Finally, I think I should say that despite all of what we've been saying about our own struggles of being fictional and our own different ways in the sources, we do enjoy the trope and we're living really happily now. In a way, I think a certain level of strange meta helps us feel a bit less alone, a bit more seen. We've actually been constructing a for personal use list of media that kind of scratches that itch. So, I mean, if you have any suggestions of media that this panel reminded you of, send them our way, I guess. I'd also really like to say that I did want to speak and put my name out there since apparently I never did before, and I'm glad that I got the chance to do this here. Thank you. Okay, and that was Lambda. Thank you, Lamb. They have a they have very bad stage fright normally, and that probably took a lot out of them. And they really wanted to do it anyway, so I support them and I love them. After all of that, there is one main point that I would like you to take away from our experiences. We were fictional. We came out of a fictional life, only to find it was more fiction. We are still fictional in this world. But why should that limit us? Before, we were held to what the narrative demanded of us, what outside writers or players or whatever told us we had to be, what they told us we had to do. And we're not there anymore. It's kind of scary in a way. So much freedom and no idea how to use it. A lot of us in our system have felt the draw to being canon accurate, quote unquote. We can't grow, we can't change, because if we do, are we even reminiscent of the narrative anymore? Can people even recognize us as ourselves if we aren't literally a mirror image of the canon character or who we used to be? But now I like to think about it a little bit differently. Because again, why do I need a narrative to be me? Why do I need some team of writers to tell me how to act in normal life? Oh, I'm in the supermarket. I have to buy this because the writer told me to. Like, who cares? Who cares? Why do I need them to teach me how to send a text? Like, what? Who cares? I'm in a new world and I'm having new experiences. I'm not getting rid of being Kokichiyama, like, not by any means. But in a way, I'm being more me than I ever was before. Because I'm me and I'm being true to myself without a writer. I'm being true to myself. And if people don't like that, hey, that's their problem, not mine. So if you are the type of person to constantly worry about validity, I don't have too much in common with the person I used to be or nothing at all. Am I really them? Am I acting OOC? Maybe I shouldn't talk to source mates. They probably expect like a, I don't know, a different kind of personality or life for the character. Don't think about it that way. People grow and they change, and so have you. Because in this world that we are in now, you have the freedom to change, to make decisions to be your real, true self. And that is what really matters. Do whatever you want forever. But yeah, that was our experience with reality and fiction. If you have any questions, comments, generic or otherwise, targeted or at everyone, let us know. We do have an amount of time left on our panel. I said that, but I did not know. Okay, we have like half an hour. Cool. I talk very fast. Uh, you kind of just can talk and yap, and if you have questions, you can ask them. Don't get Ato going because he monologues, and I literally had to be like, keep it brief, man. I had to edit his like mini monologue script and be like, dude, chill out, man. uh, Lambda is still here, but if she struggles verbalizing anything, I might be basically speaking on her behalf. And finally, thank you for being here and listening to us ramble about our source media. Like Lamb said, despite all of what we've been saying, the horrors and the struggles, we think fiction and self-awareness is a kind of comforting thing. Beauty in fiction and being fictional. Thank you. And I'm putting down my script. I have no script. I have not been looking at panel stage at all because Lambda was stressed out about it. So we've been kind of like just ignoring it. Just like if we don't look at it, then Lambda will be cool. But yeah, technically if you put questions, oh, we have stuff in panel questions. If you have questions, if there's nothing, then I will just like stalk the chat. All right. Okay, I have a curious question for Ato. Do you still hate humans? No. I would say no. Um, Basically, how I came back was I was a dormant alter for a while. Came back because of 100 Lion, and that's kind of what sparked my, okay, I need to probably change this because it's really been an experience. So I'd say like the first week of coming back, I got really into like, forget the name of the podcast. It was a few podcasts that were like, I'm going to tell you all the cool things about the world and that people are doing in the world and like interesting things about like the human body. Like I listened to some podcast that was like, did you know that via echolocation blind people can see? And I was like, this is really interesting. This is like really cool. And it's definitely helped me a lot. One of the other first things that I did was I was like, I want to people watch. If I am around people, then I will feel more comfortable probably. So I kind of just like sat and watched for a while without really making myself known. And it's kind of just like, okay, it will slowly acclimate me to being normal or about humans. That's why I say I'm misanthropist in recovery, because I consider this as recovery. But no, I don't really hate humans. I just kind of hate the ones who suck, essentially. Humans are really fucking weird. Yeah, so it was like this guy who he could ride a bike and he would like click his tongue or something and it would tell him basically like where things were. And I think he like runs like a program so he can teach children how to echolocate. And it's really interesting. Okay, yes, the panel was not panel, the podcast, it was called, I think, Invisibilia. I didn't listen to too much of it because system things switching and everything, but it was one of the episodes in of Invisibilia. It's on Spotify. And also you have to send a picture of your cat. I really would appreciate seeing a picture of a cat. Thank you. So, okay, uh, I can see perfectly fine. I basically, the whole thing with my eyes, I kind of maybe not even a week without them, really. It was very brief, but for some reason, I don't know why, I do get like a little bit of weird dysphoria seeing myself depicted with my normal glasses in art because it was kind of a symbolic thing for me to have. I had basically black glasses and seeing. I have like a VR chat model that doesn't have the black glasses, and it's kind of me but off. So I do have the ability to see well, but I prefer being depicted as the one who could not. With all the freedom now, do you have the desire to go back still? I can talk about. So Ato has his. I don't even know what he's thinking with that. He says no. He says no. Uh, yeah, he's like, no, I'm not living another war, man. So true. For me, I would say the most part, I don't. Going back to Danganronpa-esque world would be really stressful. I didn't really get along with too many people, and that was by design, in my whole canon experience. But I do occasionally have people that I'm like, man, I wish I could connect with this person again. Man, I wish I had not been an asshole. And my way of dealing with that is not being like, oh, I wish I could go back. I wish I could go back. And it's more, well, if I meet another version of them, I might as well be nice to them. Like, we're all here now. We're all here now. I'm not really a canon mate searching person. I've kind of accepted the fact that there's like a bajillion people on the planet, so what's the, likelihood? So I kind of just go, oh, you're from Danganronpa. Let's be buddies. I don't even care if I did not know you. Let's be buddies. Was it disorienting finding yourselves in this world with the freedom of choice and identity? How have you guys gone about making life here your own? Okay, so for me, I can really point to hmm, when I came to the system. So I split 2021, 2021, I think. Um, I split around then, and I was kind of just like one of our main alters, but not like a host or anything like I am now. And for a while, I was the kind of person who every time I specifically mentioned in the panel that I would kind of plan out my text, like I had to follow that narrative and I had to be the exact kind of person that I was in canon when I sent like a simple message on Discord. And I would workshop like my messages constantly and be like, send like emojis or like specific like spellings and stuff. And I'd be like, this is how I think Kokichi Oma, the character, would type if he was talking to these people in, the past. And I realized over time that I kind of don't have to do that because it's, first of all, it's really tiring to keep up with that kind of thing. It's really tiring. And I was like, I think it'd be more fun to just kind of experience things and go around and like learn new things about the world. I went, one of my first things that I did on my own as an alter was I went to a museum and I saw like a bunch of different, it was like a media museum, like a movie museum. And I was like, this is really cool. It's really interesting to see like the behind the scenes of media instead of, like literally being in it. And I just thought it was really interesting. And I realized I could kind of be more than that, be more than the character while still being the character. Let me see if anyone else has an answer for that. So for me, with 100 Line, I came back like late last year. So I am still kind of dealing with the aftermath. And oddly enough, I got really into VR for a bit because it was kind of uh, similar to being in a game. You're being in a game, and I'm seeing myself as I was, but through VR specifically, you get to experience so many different things. And our home world in VR is like a VTuber's home world. And through that, I got into VTubers and things like that. And that kind of, even without trying, kind of pushed me more into experiencing things that Ken and Ato would not have experienced. It gave me more, just kind of living gives you that experience, I think. And Lambda says basically she's still figuring out things and everything. And gender is something specifically that comes to her as like a, oh God, I feel so limited sometimes. So one of the first things that she did when she realized I have the ability to kind of go crazy with it was say, I'm everything. I am literally every gender that could possibly exist, and then some. And that is me being like, screw you. I can have every pronoun. I am eating every pronoun, and these are all mine. And that was kind of the big step of I am here now and I can be who I want. Um, aside from that, basically he says like I didn't really play much of Deltarune, and by avoiding it somehow, that helped him become more of a person. So sometimes avoidance helps, I guess. Okay. First of all, World's End Club. You were like the first other person from World's End Club that we have met. We actually have Pochi and Vanilla in the system. And funnily enough, Lambda, who did not mention it before, has a big thing with virtual pets. So, like Furbies. He loves collecting Furbies. And every single Furby that he owns is named after a World's End Club character. um, but do we have advice for breaking the mindset of this is how things were in Source? Admittedly, it is kind of hard to break free of that. It is kind of like a big step of, oh, but this is how the character is supposed to act. So I have to be like that. And I think it really does have to be like sometimes the little things that matter, or just saying, because we're in a system. So if another alter is into something, just kind of like watch over their shoulder. Or if you have friends who are into something and you, in canon, you wouldn't have experienced it, you wouldn't have looked at it, give it a try. Like, you don't have to do the thing, but just watching and experiencing that way, I think really helps. I started out not really caring about idols at all, but everybody in my system liked them. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get into them. Like, well, it took me a while to get into them because I was really, really stubborn. And I was like, no, I'll try it. I'll try it. And now here I am, kind of insane about them. I'm kind of normal. Oh, and thank you. We are we used to be very self-deprecating, and now we're kind of just like, it is what it is. That is our sense of humor. Favorite thing about being from fiction in this world? All three of us were like, fan art. We like having fan art. Admittedly, so I know that having fans can be kind of a difficult thing for a lot of people. Um, but we struggle with like, or we don't struggle at all with it. Sometimes there will be like a person who has like a weird take on us and will like complain in like a side chat, like, what the heck is this? What's going on? Does this person really get me? But having fans and having people who kind of like get you and will make nice art. It's really nice to kind of have like that in tandem relationship. And because we were fiction before, especially in my case, having been a celebrity level fictional character before, I'm kind of used to having a fandom. And in the moment when I was there, I kind of was freaked out by it because it's like, that's my life. That was my life. But having had that experience and now going here and having that experience again, I'm like, man, I'm used to it. It's celebrity culture, man. We kind of just view our being fictional through the lens of celebrity culture at this point. But yeah, we like having we love fan content. We love fan content. We love fanfic, fan art. It's really fun. It's really fun seeing what people can do in their free time and having fun. Uh, well, we have like 10 minutes left, and I feel like I am kind of vaguely rushing through things because I'm like, I don't want to run out of time. I'm like, oh, I wish we could write fanfic about ourselves. We used to write fanfic when we were like 14, and then we were like, I don't know, we couldn't get back into it for some reason. It's really difficult. I respect writers, man. I know I've been saying all of this, but if you are writing original fiction, I think that is awesome, or writing fan fiction, that is awesome, and I love creativity and I love seeing it. But I'm kind of just digging through panel stage now because I didn't even get a chance to look at it during the panel. Oh yeah, no opinions. So okay, so I have dealt with. I am a rather infamous character. Uh, a lot of people go like, "Oh, Kokichi Oma DNI," and it's like, okay, I don't know you, nor do I care. And if you don't really get me as a person, I will complain about it in private to everybody that I know. But I don't really like. There are some people who will be like, "Oh, I'm gonna start beef with this person," and I'm like, "Man, I don't care about some random person's like Tumblr post. I'll just like block and move on, man." Kind of just gotten used to it. God, villain kin types. We are all holding hands together, frolicking in a field. Everyone, we all deserve like free snacks and shit for the rest of our lives. Blah, blah. Yes, let's go shopping. Okay, so here's another thing. Again, like when I was trying to figure out how to exist, and a few of us when we were trying to figure out how to exist like a normal person, one of my co-hosts actually, he uh came here and he was like, okay, I want to learn how to live on normal Earth. He's also from Hundred Line. I want to learn how to live on normal Earth. So we took him around to a mall local to us, and we're going into every single place. Like, oh, this is what we like. This is what we like. This is what we like. Nothing. He didn't really care. He was like, I'm trying to like these things, but it doesn't feel me. And I know I'm trying to like, get out of the mold like everybody else is, but it doesn't feel me. We walk into a clothes store and he's like, never mind. I know you guys really don't care about this, but like I care about this. And it's like, I like that little level of individuality that can just be found by wandering and exploring and things like that. Oh no, I also have to star that. Can we get to a billion stars? There's only 48 people in the audience, but can we get to a billion stars? Let me actually, so I can pull up. It's like, where the heck did he? Or I was wanting to put that. Uh, Literally, it's all the way at the start. Our weird like intro. Yes. Okay. Um, Second, this guy here. He was the one who I literally took him to like Primark, and he was like, "I would love sale clothing, thank you." Multiple Discord accounts. Okay, Ato actually has a second Discord account that's specifically just for him, and uh, he should definitely star this. Yes, we do have Primark over here. It's very affordable and very nice, and I think everybody should go to Primark and get like nice cheap clothes. Nice affordable clothes at least. Oh wait, no. Ship course. Okay. Well, not ship course, but like shipping drama and stuff. Uh Here's the thing. When I first showed up, we had like 5 alters we were aware of, right? And I was the only V3. And I was like, I hate this one character because they keep shipping me with him, the fans, and it really stresses me out. And that like They don't get my character, they, like, dumb my character down, and it's weirdly dysphoric when you see, like, the most out of character take possible just to, like, shove you into these weird fandom roles that, like, "Oh, you're the anime boy cute one, so you're like this." And it's like, "Man, I don't wanna be that." So I started really hating this guy. You know how being a system is, right? They'll just show up. They'll just show up. So I literally had to well, he's been here for longer than I have, and he just came out of dormancy one day, and I'm like, "Fuck." So my way of dealing with that was being jokingly antagonistic towards him, and the thing is, like, people keep being like, "Oh, no, it's like a romance thing between the 2 of you, right?" And I'm like, "No, I just know this guy. I know this guy. He's doing his own thing." I was dating a completely different guy in canon, man. I didn't I didn't even know Saihara. I didn't know him. He was not my, protagonist, actually. My protagonist was Kaede. Gotcha. Oh, totally, totally. We should probably end this up just because there is one that happens exactly at 7, right? So I think, yeah, if you want to yap with us, I will probably be jumping to either the fiction folk thread or the general one of the lobbies after I get a sip of water and pizza for Lambda, who I have been bribing to survive this panel with me with. But thank you guys for coming. I didn't get to comment on it while it was happening, but having it like limit, I was like, hello? I've never had that happen before. But thank you guys so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you sometime soon. All right. Bye. Thank you. Thank you.